For the first time since 2019, we're about to have a new Star Wars movie. Yeah, is it just me, or are people not particularly excited about this movie? Look, I personally quite like the trailers that we saw, but a lot of people seem to not be too excited with it. And let's be fair, the marketing campaign for this movie has been shocking, to say the least. And in addition to that, the last season, season 3 of The Mandalorian, was not the best. But if you are like me and still hopeful that this movie is gonna turn out good, but you do need a little bit of a refresher, well, I'm here to help you. Or if you've been living under a rock and you don't care about any of the Star Wars TV shows, but you're like, oh, movies, so you're gonna go see it. Well, for the first time ever, Star Wars is basing a movie on a TV show, and you do need to know what happened in that, so let me catch you up. So season 1 starts off with introducing our protagonist, a Mandalorian called Din Djarin, but no one calls him that. They all call him Mando or Mandalorian, even though there are plenty more Mandalorians in this universe, so calling him that seems very much done for the sake of the show. Anyway, I shouldn't digress. He is a bounty hunter, and an Imperial guide played by Werner Herzog hires him to retrieve someone, and that someone, of course, is Grogu. But we don't know he's called Grogu until way later in the show, so everyone just calls him Baby Yoda. The child. When Din is trying to get to Grogu, he does team up with an IG droid who is also after Grogu, but he wants to kill Grogu. Well, Din is not about to let that happen, so he just kills the droid and takes Grogu because he cares about him. Aww. So they bond a bit, but Din still has to give Grogu to the Imperials. But after very instant regret, he just takes him back. I will say Din did not think this through, because he goes certain places where he tries to hide from everyone who's after him, and believe me, there are a lot of people after him. So after he tries several locations, including Tatooine, he figures out that he still has to deal with the Bounty Hunter Guild who are after him, and Grogu. So he tries to deal with them, but actually Moff Gideon is really the one after Grogu, because Gideon wants to do some evil cloning experiments on him. Din then fights Gideon and thinks he's killed him, but come on, Din. Do you know anything about movies or TV? If you don't see his body by the law, he is still alive. Not only is Gideon alive, he actually has the Darksaber. What? Now, if you haven't seen the Clone Wars or Rebels, you won't know what the Darksaber is, but trust me, it's a big deal. It even gets a mention in Rogue One. Now, if you actually have seen Rebels, you know that the last time that we saw the Darksaber with anyone was with Bo-Katan, roughly 10 years before this. However, she didn't win it in combat from Sabine. Sabine just handed it to her. So the rule that the Mandalorian literally made up is that if you didn't win it in combat, you have no right to it, and it will lead to the destruction of Mandalore. And yeah, that's literally what happened. Mandalore was completely destroyed, Terminator style. But don't worry, Sabine and Bo-Katan are alive and well, along with a whole lot of other Mandalorians that we see later in the show. But that's for later, because first we need to find a Jedi for Grogu to teach him the ways of the Force, because of course Grogu is a Jedi, just look at him, he's literally Baby Yoda. So Din and Grogu are off to find other Mandalorians, because finding a Jedi directly, no, you're not gonna do that. Seriously though, after the entire Endor thing, it's 5 years later, how did word not get out that Luke is a Jedi, or that Luke is maybe training other Jedi at this point? He is not training other Jedi at this point. Luke, what the fuck have you been doing the last 5 years? Look, I suppose it's all done to make sure that there is a complete second season of The Mandalorian, and let's be fair, it's the best season of the show, but it just seems like...
It's never a straight line with you Jedi, is it?
So anyway, the first Mandalorian that they find is Boba Fett. Cobb Vanth, who has Boba Fett's armor, but he can't help Din because he's not a Mandalorian and he has no knowledge of any Jedi. So Din continues his search, and then he finds Bo-Katan. See, she's alive and well with some other Mandalorians, and she tells Din to find Ahsoka Tano.
Oh my god! Okay, it's happening! Everybody stay calm!
If you don't know who Ahsoka is at this point, you must have been living under a rock for the past 2 decades. Just watch the Clone Wars or Rebels, or most notably her own show, Ahsoka. But Ahsoka takes a look at Grogu and is like, nah, I can't teach him, so Din has to still continue his search. So Din takes Grogu to a magical Force Stone on some random planet where Grogu calls out to Luke, but once they're there, Din has to face Boba Fett and the Empire. Don't worry though, Boba Fett is not with the Empire anymore, even though he literally worked for them in The Empire Strikes Back. Boba Fett is a good guy now, and he actually helps Din out, and he even gets his own show where Din's story actually continues. So if you have seen all of The Mandalorian, but you haven't seen the Book of Boba Fett, oh yeah, you missed some key info, and you actually need to see that show. Does it make any sense that you have to watch a different show to be caught up with one show? No, but that's what Star Wars is going with these days, so fuck you, I suppose. Now, none of it actually is in regards to the new Razor Crest that we saw in that trailer. The Razor Crest from this show did blow up, and at no point do we see a new one, so how do we get a new one in the trailer? It's not explained anywhere. So anyway, the Empire takes Grogu, and Din now has to team up with Boba Fett, Badass Female 1, Badass Female 2, Badass Female 3, and Badass Female 4 to take back Grogu from Moff Gideon. However, despite all the badass females that we have, in the end we still need a white guy to save us all when Luke Skywalker comes in to save the day. I will say this scene is extremely awesome and one of the best fan service moments in all of Star Wars history, and then oh my god, what is that face? Yeah, they decided to go with CGI for his face and his voice, which by the way improves a whole lot the next time we see him. And also the next time we see him, Grogu's like, nah, I'm good, you know, Luke, you can just figure out someone else to go Jedi train with. I'm just gonna go back to Din now. So any of the things that happened at the end of season 2 is undone by the time we get to season 3. Also, Luke's first Padawan in 5 years, the Padawan is like, nah, I'm out of here. Yeah, Luke, this is not going particularly well. 5 years, what do you have to show for it? Grogu getting back to Din is extremely cute though, but Din taking off his helmet was all for nothing, because that's an issue now. He took off his helmet and therefore he needs to go back to Mandalore to make that right. So in season 3 of The Mandalorian, Din has to go to Mandalore to redeem himself, where he loses a fight with this weird droid-like creature. Bo-Katan has to ex machina him, and that will grant her the Darksaber in the end. Is this some bullshit legacy writing? Yes, but it's what they did, so can you tell this is season 3 of the show and the quality just got worse? So Din goes into the water and redeems himself, and Bo-Katan goes with him because, well, she has to save him, and in that process she actually sees the Mythosaur, which is kind of cool. But even better, Bo-Katan and Din team up with the Mandalorians and a whole bunch of other Mandalorians, and they are going to take back Mandalore. Now, I will say throughout season 3 we also have Pizza the Hut and Lizzo and Jack Black and a whole lot of other fillery bullshit, but since it's all complete filler anyway, skip! So the Mandalorians go to Mandalore and they find Moff Gideon's hideout. Oh my god, how is this guy not dead by this point? Like, at the end of season 1, no. At the end of season 2, no. At the end of season 3, I hope so. I really hope so at this point. But yeah, he's alive and at large. He has this entire facility set up on Mandalore with some special Imperial troops, his own cloning facility and everything. It's like, okay, this is the end fight to settle everything, I hope. He has had a lot of time to make this happen here. Like, Jesus Christ, the Mandalorians are dumb. However, as dumb as they might be, they are good fighters, so they do manage to take out Moff Gideon and his facility once and for all. And seriously, if Moff Gideon shows up in the movie, I'm going to fucking riot. So then Din and Grogu settle down on Navarro, and Din is like, I'm gonna work for the New Republic now. And that's about all there is to The Mandalorian. No, wait, no, I forgot something. Because earlier in this video, you remember that I mentioned Ahsoka? Yeah, she had her own show, and something happened in that show which saw the return of Grand Admiral Thrawn to this galaxy, and he might have to play a part in this movie. Because in the penultimate episode of season 3 of The Mandalorian, there's a scene where we see the ex-Imperials. There's like a shadow council of them, and they mention him, and they seem to want to rise to power when he returns. So now that he has returned, it seems that he is going to be the big bad in the Mandalorian universe. Now, I'm not sure if this is going to play any part in the actual movie, but you know, it's speculation, so I like to speculate. It's my thoughts. It's a bit of fun. No one knows what will actually happen, but we'll see about it. So that is about all I think you need to know about the Mandalorian and Grogu movie before it comes out. And now I wonder, are you excited for this? Because I am looking forward to it, but I wonder if other people are. Like, at all? Are you excited? Are you gonna go see it? Because I will say, I am going to see this movie opening day in IMAX for sure, but there are other things that I'm more excited about this year in regards to Star Wars, like Ahsoka Season 2, like Maul Shadow Lord. So I'm not entirely sure if the movie is gonna live up to the hype. I just hope it's good. I think I'm even more excited for Starfighter next year, but that might just be me. Anyway, let me know what your excitement levels are in the comments below. Now, I've done very extensive reviews for all of The Mandalorian and the Book of Boba Fett, so if you're interested to see my in-depth thoughts on all of those episodes, check out the link to the playlist in the description below. If you like this recap video, please leave a like on the video, subscribe to the channel for more Star Wars content, and of course, until the next video, may the Force be with you.